So as we continue working with interest involving banking concepts, we want to find the missing interest earned. So they want to find the missing compound interest. So it looks like they gave us the principal. They gave us the rate of interest. They said it's compounded quarterly for 10 years. It looks like they already gave us the final amount. So the question is how much interest was paid on it? So to me, our compounded interest, so I'm going to just use I for interest here, should just be the final amount minus the principal. So if I have $1,823.86, if I subtract the 1225, that should represent what we paid extra in interest. So if I put that in the calculator, $1,823.86, if I subtract the $1,225, that should give us how much we paid in interest, which would be $598. Oops, try that again. So $598.86. Notice how we could have determined the final amount because we could have used the compounding interest formula. We could have said that the final amount is going to be P times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT. That's our compounding interest formula. So I could substitute in the 1225 in for the principal. We have 1 plus the interest rate is 4%, which is 0.04. Since it's compounded quarterly, quarterly means we're compounding 4 times a year. So we're dividing a year into 4 equal increments. So we're compounding the interest 4 times a year, and we're doing that over for how many times? So since we're doing it 4 times a year, 10 years, we're going to be doing that 4 times 10 there, or we could have said 40. So if we put this into the calculator, we should be getting this final amount. So 1225 is our initial borrowing. And then we have this 1 plus, and I like to use a fraction here. So alpha y equals gives me this little menu. Choose number 1, hit enter. There it is. I got my little thing there, a little fraction looking thing, numerator, denominator. 0.04 goes on the top. And since we said quarterly, that's going to be 4 times. Come out, close parentheses, raise it. And since I know that 4 times 10 is 40, I'm just going to go ahead and put a 40 there. Hit enter. And we do get $1,826. And notice that 8 moves it to 6.86 cents. So they saved us the trouble of actually having to do the formula because they gave us the final amount. So we got that going on there. So a little extra work there that just to kind of verify things. Let's look at question 9. It says complete the table. Notice now they didn't give us the final amount and they want to know the compounding interest. So we notice that to find how much interest we had to know the final amount and we had to subtract the principal from the final amount. That gave us this piece. So in our example here, we're compounding. So we know the formula's got to be the final amount is going to be the initial amount times 1 plus the interest rate divided by the number of times we're compounding raised to the number of times we're compounding per year, if you will, times the number of years that we're borrowing it. So to find the final amount, we need to know the principal. So our initial amount was the $1,130. The rate of interest is 2.5%. This gets a little tricky, but if you move the decimal 2 places, we should get 0.025 because notice the decimal's not on the end this time, it's here. So 1, 2 means I have to add a 0 there. My number of times we're compounding semi-annually means twice a year. So semi kind of means half or half a year, so twice a year. The time is 6 years. So again, I did give you a TI-84 calculator in your Unit 4 folder. So feel free to use that link if you like to use that if you don't have a graphing calculator or if your calculator is not able to do this type of math. So let me quit this here, or just clear this, I should say. Quit now. Clear. So I'm going to well, I'm going to set it first on paper first. Let me go ahead and do that. So I'm going to replace everything with its values. So 1,130 is my principal, the one that helps me find the final amount. And then the R over N, that's going to be 0.025 over the number of times compounded per year is 2. And then we're going to multiply that. The number of times compounded times number of years would be then 2 times 6. Of course, we know 2 times 6 is 12. So I'm going to put it in my calculator then 1,130, and then in parentheses, I have this 1 plus. And then I like to use a fraction here, so that's that F1 up here. So alpha y equals N over D. So I'll put the 0.025 here, drop down, put the 2 here, slide out with my arrow, directional pad, close my parenthesis, and then I need an exponent, so this little key here has got to be put into play. So this up arrow, and 2 times 6 is 12. So that gives me then that the final amount is going to be, and we have to round it to the nearest penny, so that's 2 decimal places. So I'm getting $1,311 and looks like 65 cents because that 2 would say keep the 5, not round up to a 6. So that's my final amount. Now, my compound interest, so my interest is actually going to be the final amount minus the principal. So the compounded interest is going to be what I ended with, which was $1,311.65. And if I subtract what I borrowed to begin with, my initial amount was 1,130. That should give us how much interest we uh, we earned on it or paid on it. So we have this 1,311.65. If we subtract in 1,130, that's going to give us how much interest, which would be $181.65 is how much interest I paid on that investment, or if I borrowed it. So we'll stop there and we'll see what we have going on next here.